The Schmo can feel his presence over the left shoulder right now, too. I think he's got a word or two to get in here, right? Mr. Goddard, what do you have to say about all that?
I ain't falling for this fucking ghost.
This is the Schmo with the pro, with the former cage fighter, turn analyst. One of the best in the business, Mr. Full Reptile himself, Dan Hardy, here for Cage Warriors 146. How we doing?
All good, how are you?
The Schmo can't complain, man. We're here at the O2, beautiful London. The Schmo's first time covering fights this side of the pond.
It's good to have you here, man. It's good to have you here. Obviously, you know, you're very welcome in the UK, and I would imagine a lot of the people would take to you, you know what I mean? You're a very colourful individual.
We appreciate that, man. Now, we got a very interesting featherweight main event here for Cage Warriors 146. We got a guy stepping up on 4 days' notice, man. If you're Mr. Vucinic and you're holding the featherweight strap, is this a more difficult thing or an easier thing coming into tonight?
You know, I think they're quite similar opponents. You know, Paul Hughes is a great grappler. He's a great striker. Same thing with Hendon. You know, Hendon's a great judoka. He's going to want to close him down. He's going to want to try and grapple with him. So I think it's maybe a bit clearer what Hendon's going to try and do. But Vucenic's got great takedown offense. He doesn't mind grappling himself. I think he's a brown belt now, and his striking's very, very slick.
Certainly is. Your striking's very, very slick, too. Are we going to get you back inside the cage? Because you're always teasing us with that, man, and the Schmo's is watching you with the heavy bag.
Well, yeah, I like to stay in shape. I keep talking about having a boxing match. That was the first thing that's on my agenda right now for June. But we're trying to figure out an opponent at the moment. I've had a few options, but...
It's not Tyron Woodley?
He's not Tyron Woodley, no. He's fallen off the face of the planet. Never hear from him anymore. So I don't know. But we'll see. Boxing, maybe. Kickboxing, maybe MMA. We'll see. One of the events that you covered has just been in contact, in fact, so we'll see where that one goes.
Interesting. Bare knuckle?
No. Spread my wings, you know what I mean?
Of course, man. Of course. The Schmo knows what you're talking about, but the world doesn't know what you're talking about.
I can't tell him yet. I need to have some more conversations to see where I'm going. But yeah, I'm always going to tease it. I'm never going to retire, never ever. I'll be having these conversations at 60, but hopefully I will have fought by then.
Well, of course, man. You got some excellent breakdowns, but of all the great events coming up outside of Cage Warriors here, what are you looking forward to the most?
Well, obviously, you know, UFC London is going to be amazing. There are so many fights on there to look forward to. We've got 1X coming up as well with the DJ Rodtang super fight. It's going to be very interesting. I've been watching their featherweight tournaments as well, the kickboxing tournament. We've got the final with Alazov and Sitachai. So we're kind of spoiled, really. We've got loads of stuff. And Cage Warriors are doing a double header at the beginning of April as well, up in Manchester. So staying busy. Loads and loads of good fights.
So Michael Bisping, he's the first UFC champion from this region. Who's going to be the second champion from this region?
You know, that's a tough question. I mean, I think Arnold Allen's got a really good opportunity against Dan Hooker. If he walks away with a win, especially a stoppage win this weekend, that puts him right up in the top of the division, ready for a matchup that puts him in a position for a title shot. Other than that, I mean, I'm keeping my eye on Jack Shaw. I think, you know, an undefeated fighter, very, very skilled. Makes most of his fights look easy, but I think Valiev might be a bit more of a tough challenge for him. But I think we've got a few good options right now. Paddy Pimblett, Molly McCann, loads of people.
Who's the current UFC champion that is most likely going to be losing their belt the soonest?
Oh, that's a good question. I think if we see Aljamain Sterling rematch Peter Yan, I think we might see Peter Yan with the belt again. That's a really, really tough fight for Aljamain Sterling. And I kind of felt like he was unraveling a little bit before that knee landed, the illegal knee that got him the belt. So I think Aljo, if he rematches Peter Yan, will probably lose his belt.
Well, Peter Yan, he's having trouble having cornermen getting visas. We're talking about having a Sugar Sean O'Malley and maybe a Henry Cejudo in his corner.
You know, I don't think he needs a cornerman. I think he's the kind of guy, he's cold. He would just walk there with the bucket and the water and the ice and he'd be fine on his own. You don't need to give that man any instructions. Maybe a stool and a drink between rounds, but you should corner him. I bet you've got some good advice for him, actually.
Yeah, the Schmo loves Jacksonville, too.
There you go.
We'll come right out there for that. But what about a guy in that division like a TJ Dillashaw? Obviously, he technically never lost the belt, but he was caught for the performance-enhancing drugs, man. Where does he sit on the side of the fence? And he's coming off a victory against Corey Sandhagen.
He is coming off a victory against Corey Sandhagen, and I thought he looked good as well, but I also think Corey's still in the running as well. I think he's a very, very difficult individual to deal with. And to be honest, the time out for TJ Dillashaw, the things that made him good, his conditioning, his footwork, that's kind of a mainstay in this division now. All of the guys have got good footwork. The majority of them switch stance. I think it's a tougher test for TJ Dillashaw now than it was a couple of years ago when he was competing.
All right, back to Cage Warriors, because a lot of talent comes from Cage Warriors into the UFC. Guys that we're going to see tomorrow night, the Tom Aspinalls, Patty the Batty Pimblets. Who's the next star from this organization to make a name for themselves in the UFC?
Well, I think we need to keep an eye on this main event. I think Jordan Vucenic and James Hendon have got a great opportunity. We also have Paul Hughes as well, and that fight needs to happen. The fight that was supposed to happen tonight.
Rematch.
Yeah, it would be an amazing rematch to see. That the first one was great, but I think these three individuals, Hendon, Hughes, and Vucenic, they're all so very evenly matched that it's just a case of who comes out on top in the next two fights, and we'll see the next UFC fighter.
Final message for all your fans out there worldwide.
Hey, thanks everybody for the support. I've had great support over the last couple of years. Check out the YouTube channel and make sure you follow the Schmo.
He's the pro, I'm the Schmo. Cage Warriors 146. Mr. Goddard, can we get a promo so the fans can see you at least?
Refs can't come from those pros.
All right, fair enough.
Fully professional.
That's why he's the best.
There we go. Fully pro.
We're out.